When you're having a family, it's always interesting with dates. Our first child was born on August 28, 1969, and we were students. Where were we? I guess we were in graduate school at BYU. And our second child was born on August 28th. Kyle was born on August 28th, 1969. And Shannon came along on August 28th, 1970. So these children were born on the same day, 1 year apart. And it's interesting that down the road, when Shannon got married and had a family, her youngest child was born on August 28th. So I would say that August 28th is a big time date in our family, and certainly a red letter day. We were in graduate school at BYU living with Grandma and Grandpa Dastrup for the summer.
And a few months later, I just kept thinking, something's up here, something's up. And the doctor would say, no, you're not pregnant again. And Dennis would say, no, you're not pregnant again. I said, oh, I think I am. And about 5 months along, the doctor checked me and said, oh, I think you're right. You are pregnant. So that's why I never did have a due date. I just went happily along. And then we would go to Provo every summer so that Dennis could work on his master's degree. And we were staying at my mother's house. And on the 28th of August, I got up in the morning and put Kyle in the tub, and I was sitting on the floor next to the tub, and labor started. And I thought, this is reminiscent of something.
And of course, Carolyn was expecting Shannon. And the day that Shannon was to be born, we went to the doctor, Dr. Anderson, as I remember. And he said, this baby is ready to be born. You can just go right here from the office down to the hospital. But Carolyn didn't want to do that. She wanted to go back to the Orem, to Grandma's house, because it was Kyle's birthday. And so she wanted to have a little party for him. And I said, honey, give me a break. You're going to have this baby right here in this house. I can't deal with that. She said, no, I'm fine. So we went back to the house, had a birthday party, and then we went to the hospital.
So I got him out of the tub and got him dressed and woke up Dennis, and he took me to my doctor's appointment that I already had scheduled. And the doctor said, go get your suitcase and meet me at the hospital because you're going to have a baby today. So we went home and gave Kyle his birthday present. And then we went to Provo, so we got there by 11:30, I think, about. And Shannon was born extremely quickly. The water broke when she was born. And all I remember is the doctor said, oh, I get to go to lunch. Great. And so he went to lunch. I remember that the difference in the nurses between Cedar City and Provo was night and day. They were wonderful. They knew how to deliver babies. They knew how to take care of mothers. They just did everything right in Provo. I felt really, really good. I wasn't swollen. I was just better taken care of.
I don't remember that it was very eventful as far as any exciting or scary things that took place. She was born. Everything was normal. Beautiful baby. Turned into be a beautiful woman.
After Shannon was born, I went home to Mother's house, and I was supposed to be in Beaver by now, but I had a newborn, and the Sampsons came and took Kyle to the farm. I didn't know the plan, and I wasn't in on the plan, and I was a little bit irritated that they took my baby without my knowing it. And they came to see Shannon, brought Kyle with them, and so this was few days later, and I had assumed that they were leaving Kyle with me, and they got ready to go, and they picked him up, and I said, what are you doing? And they said, well, we're taking him back. We'll bring him in a week, and when you go back to Beaver, you can take him home with you. I said, no, I want him now. I want him here. He's my baby. This little baby, this new baby just sleeps all the time, and I want my 1-year-old. And they said, see ya. Shut the door behind him, and I started to cry, and I cried so hard and so long that my mother came in and said, you have got to stop. You're going to be sick. And Dennis called while I was crying, and I couldn't even talk to him. They took my baby away from me, and I was just heartsick. Well, finally I got over it, and they brought him back to me, and I had my 1-year-old back, which was a lot funner than a brand new baby because she just wasn't interested in me at all. So So we went home to Beaver, and Shannon wasn't the same baby that Kyle was. Kyle, you would feed him, put him to bed, he would sleep for 4 hours. After 4 hours, he would wake up, you'd feed him, you'd sleep for 4 hours. Shannon, you would feed her, and she would cry. So I thought, oh, okay, I'm just not a good nurser. I can't, it's my fault, it's my fault. So they were advertising on TV these special baby bottles you could buy that had a little plastic bag in the side, and the nipple was shaped more natural, and it was going to be fabulous. So Dennis went down and bought me a set of that. She still cried. I would nurse her, then I would feed her a bottle, then she would throw up, and I would, she would cry and I would cry. So the doctor was Dr. something in Beaver. What was his name? Very nice guy. He offered me, because he knew I was a responsible person, he said I could have some paregoric and told me how to use it. They don't even have it now because people used it to drug their babies and make them sleep. But I just put a little drop or two in it, and it would just get all the bubbles out of her, and she would sleep. She was a different baby. She felt so much better. I thought it was a miracle. She just became this calm little baby after I had paregoric. So she did great, and she was a feisty little crawler. She could run on her hands and knees really fast, and she was just a cute little baby. We had 2 high chairs. We had 2 cribs. I remember when Shannon was a year old, we came up to probably stayed with Sampson's. I don't know, but I had made her a little jumper and him a little pants, shorts, and they were out of the same fabric, and they were red and blue striped. And she would sit in the stroller, and he would stand on the back, on the axle, between the wheels. And so we would go around, and people would say, "Are they twins?" And we would say, "Well, kind of." And then Dennis would explain to everybody, well, they were born on the same day, but 1 year apart. So they're kind of twins, but not really.
And so our first 2 children were born on the same day, 1 year apart. It was actually kind of like raising twins almost. And for much of the first couple of years, people thought that they were twins.
So they were pretty good friends. He was really nice to her. And I remember she was a shy little girl and didn't want to go to nursery when I went to Relief Society. And I remember saying, just hold Kyle's hand and go with him to the nursery, and it will be fine. He will take care of you. It was an old church, and it was a dark, dungy hall. And he just led her down the hall and took her to the nursery, and she was fine. So it was good.